Welcome in, everybody, as we get into this evening's live. And I wasn't sure if I was going to come back on this evening, but there's a few things that are very apparent on these charts that I would really like to talk about. And I'll wait to get into it until I can see what kind of audience we have. I think we'll have a few people, I'm not sure. Earlier we had like 170 people, roughly 160 people. And now XLM is coming down to that support structure, and it's one of those, I don't know the best way to say it, so I'll just wait and see what comes up through as I'm waiting to see who's ends up in the audience. John Bugathorpe, welcome in. Jay Frimix, good evening. Kelvin, welcome in. I really appreciate each and every one of you, especially a special shout out to the members of Tom's Army who allow me to do this the way that I see fit, not having to, let's just say, sell out my programming and things like that. But also the power of community here. So it's something cool that we have here. So good evening, Ben. And Pop Wheelie, thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Joseph Euler, Crypto Cooter, and Define Group, thank you all three of you for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Jesse, welcome in. Appreciate you tuning in this evening. Omar, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And I know it's your first month because that's my face superimposed on that emoji badge. That is awesome. Let's see. I like sharing it. See, you reminded me to share it. See, I'm also a member of my own army. Look at me. Checking in with my XRP Phoenix badge. Look at that. And CJ2 Pilot for 20 months. You're almost to the 2-year badge now, my guy. Thank you so much with the I Told You So badge for supporting my program. I really appreciate it. Jorge, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. And also being a very, very trusted mod. Says, hello, people. Hello, Tom. What a wild day today. Don't forget to hit that like button. Yes, indeed. And I think today was a perfect example why leverage is just not the way to go. Just not the way to go. No matter how good it looks, even if you're right, it's such a fine, even at 3x, it's a minute set of standards, you know, like it's different. It's just a different feel. Like in the mindset that I keep, what ends up happening to me when I look at it from a leverage standpoint is I slip into the short trade. When really I've been looking at this for a long time, and right now I believe XLM should at some point here roll up here and actually play up towards this 26.6, 27 cent. And I think it should do that and then some, but I think it should do that as in regards to, we're waiting on it just like we were on XDC Friday. And now it's coming up and it's about to fill this exact pattern step by step by step. And it completed the golden cross, broke out, hit the next layer. XRP did the exact same thing, broke the golden cross, hit the next layer. It just hasn't contributed and compounded to that next step like XDC. It's actually, XDC's out in front of them all right now. And XLM's sitting here like, okay, well, I have not even started yet. So I am going to buy a position in XDC, or XLM. I already know it. And it's just, this is going to be a big test for everybody who follows along with me because we'll see if you're really made of honor, decency, if it's all talk, if you can handle it, if you understand my trading philosophy. We're going to find out a lot, and I almost don't want to cross these roads, and I speak in code because you have to be with it to know it and to know it to be with it. You know, and that's all I can say about that. But, you know, I'm thinking that XLM is the way to go. Because I've been watching XRP, XLM, XDC, waiting for these little moments. And I know I can only buy one time. I won't be able to compound on it because I think it only does one trade when I'm doing it on BITUNIX. If I have, let's just say, a group. And I'm okay with it because I know exactly what I'm waiting for. So I don't care if it comes down to, I really don't care. I mean, I'm going to treat it just like I do with my spot position. So if you got to sit in it with me, we sat in XRP for 1.5 years. So get ready to buckle this shit up because it ain't going to go nowhere until it goes somewhere. And the only way that I would let go is if it fell too far and then I knew I could get more tokens farther down. So this would be a straight XLM play if you're following me from here on out. There's not, I'm looking from this token to that token to this, because that's not what I normally do. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. And I really would like some input here because I think this is my time to strike. And I don't care about getting the very bottom. So if it wants to come to 24.5, I really don't care from 24.8 or if it wants to do something like that. But it's come down into my buy zone. I was waiting for 24.88 if I was going to do the spot position. And this will get us 10,000. I want to do 10,000 tokens and see if what this group's really made of. And see what we can do. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome in and thanks for being in town for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. McMichael and Crazy Pole, welcome in and thanks for being in town for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. So, oh shit, I forgot to log in, so I'll have to do it from my phone. That's okay. This is better because I don't want anybody to really see what I'm doing. So let me see something. And obviously, you know, we'll see what happens here, but I think it's in a spot where I know all of the things that can happen. I know all of the things that can happen, but I'm waiting for XLM to make the same move because I know it's going to. Hasn't made the Golden Cross movement. It's like I can talk about this until I'm blue in the face, or I can just do something. And it's a one. These are 1x I'm talking about. I'm not talking about pulling your pants down and bending over and taking it. Let's see. Man, you don't know how you make my day and cheer me up when you say hi to me. Omar, I appreciate that. Oh, you don't know how you cheer up my day too, just see you in here. And being part of Tom's Army, what a bonus. Thank you, Omar, so much for that. The Gatman, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over... Wow, 2 years, well over 2 years now with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. I can't believe there's so many people that have been part of this for so long. So yeah, that's if you want to put it in right now, because this is and then we're gonna go into XRP. Glad we're all in this great community together. Because then what ends up happening, let's just say this doesn't hold for whatever reason. My next philosophy is, okay, well, let's just say I buy now. It's about 10,100 tokens for $2,500. So then if it breaks down, my goal is if I were to sell to get more than 10,100 tokens. So let's say it broke down. I might have less portfolio value, but if I do it properly, then maybe I could pick up another 1,000 or 2,000 tokens, even though the portfolio is smaller, and then you have more to work with. You know, so that's the philosophy I used to use with XRP too until it was time. So I haven't bought anything yet because I'm trying to find to see where the exact snipe point is. And the fact that it didn't come exactly, and you guys know I'm very anal about this stuff. The fact that it didn't come exactly to where I want it to, and it came close. Do I wait for this overextended reach to like 24.6? Am I being too freaking paranoid? You know, these are all good questions. Because it's already back tested that little gap area. Nick knows. There was a looming gap on XRP and XLM. It's better that we took care of this short-term one. Had to wait for execution, but it's worth it. Don't want to overpay. No, it's fine. Like, listen, when you watch me, it's at 24678. I'll put it in at 247, 24703. I don't care. I'm not really too concerned. I'll try it initially at the lowest I can try, but I don't care about that 0.00. That's something that I used to care about more. I don't really care about anymore. But yeah, we do want the best deal, obviously. But like when I look at this, if I go back here and I look at this from a clear standpoint, the only thing that I can say is I need to pull this just a little bit higher. Bear with me. Because we are trying to get to the absolute detail right now. For me, I am. I'm trying so hard. And I can't see out of my left eye, so it's kind of difficult here. For any of you who know, you know. I have keratoconus, so I see one big blur. So I have like no real depth perception on that side. So. And then. This is off because it's in the daily and we went through the 4 hourly. But honestly, I actually like this better now. Because you could look at it like that and say that it came through, but You know, that's why I did this, because who's really going to do that? You know, then you could go like this. But you could theoretically, but it's over the resistance area that I'm more concerned about and how it was testing it. So, I mean, now that I look at it, it's honestly right where I wanted it. That's the point. This is right where we wanted it to, yeah, see, that's better lined up. That's right where we wanted it to hit, though. We got the golden cross and the 3 hourly happening. 4 hourly, it's pending. I mean, this is, to me, this is basically as sweet as it's going to get. And if it goes lower, it goes lower. And then if it breaks down, it breaks down, and then I have to reevaluate it. But I'm trying to buy a setup. So, now it comes down to this. You know, what is the nut buy here? So now I look into the smaller time frames. And in the 5 minute, inconsistent, there's really no volume to speak of in the 5. So right now it's just chopping. There's no volume. So it's trying to pour out even more, and there's not really any volume. This is exactly, if we get a reset, you could theoretically come down here. But now we're just kind of chomping at the bit, because now if I'm looking at it from higher time frames, in the 4 hourly, we're right where I want to be. We're below the 4 hourly, which is fine because I'm looking at it in the 3 hourly before this, and you can see it's back testing the golden cross. So simultaneously, it's back testing in the 4 hourly to see it. Whoops. If the 20-day moving average is going to hold up, and right now it's easily holding up above. And then I start looking at it in the 2 hourly because that's the short-term trend. And right now the 20-day is holding on for dear life, but we do have a golden cross here that's already crossed, and now we're back testing it as we break over the pattern and back test the pattern. I mean, if I was a bet man, this is where I would bet on it, but not from leverage, just to let the pattern play true. You know, just let it play true. And then, you know, if it takes weeks, months. Look, we waited on XRP for 1.5 years, so I just think we get the short-term mindset. It ain't about short-term. When you go short-term like that, you lose it all. Even though you're going to be right in the end. What a bitch this is going to be once, you know, if and when it does break out in that capacity. Good evening. 9:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, July 7th, 2025. July 7th. My God, this year's going too fast. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. These are those gut-punching decisions, but I do feel good because it's a spot. Well, I mean, it's technically in the future side, but it's a 1x trade. So it's spot. Look at the MACD. It slowed down, but now it's the question, would it flip right? I just think because of the pattern setup, that's a huge inverse head and shoulders. And with patience here, you could buy today, and with patience, you're going to have a miraculous run. So with that being said, my money where my mouth is. Let me make sure that I have this where I want it. I want to make sure this is a 1x. Okay. You know, that's where my money, where my mouth is. So that's just me. I don't know how many of you are following along and know what I'm talking about. But I have $2,498 in on XLM, and it's 10,126 tokens. So that's just the way it is right now. So I'm going to play this formation. If it breaks down, it breaks down. But I like what I see here. And this forces me to own these XLM and to own it. And I want to own it when it's in a good area. And right now, from the all-time lookout, and this is XRPFutureMillionaire.com. So make sure you follow my website. I'm having one last meeting on Wednesday, and I'm going to learn how to do all of this stuff as far as so that I can do lives on here. Because I paid someone to make this website, and as like my exit call, because it's finally the way I want, they're going to show me how to do my last side, like if I want to add more integrations myself, but also how to do the live portion. Because I'm going to do it separate from YouTube if anything ever happens. Or uncensored. But I like where we're at right now. I think with patience here, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take. So if you're looking for a micro move right now, I'm not looking for the micro move. I'm looking for a move. I'm just looking for a move. So this is my XLM bag right now. Because what I did is the same thing some of you did. I cleared everything out that I had. And I put this money, instead of having my other XLM, I just have it now like this. So, what you see is what you see, and this is all I can present is what you see. Let's see. Let's see if I missed anybody. John Bugathorpe, Tom, I bought XLM earlier at 247. Yeah, my order filled right away. I actually was waiting for it to, because I put it in a limit order. I'm trying to see what it put it in at. Yeah, put it in at 24661. I believe it said, on average. No, 24673. But that's, you know, it's on the future side, so it's slightly different. And you would see the spot price. So 247, similar, John. Same in this exact same area. Let's just see. The Fine Group, thank you so much for not only being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Says, please know you are very appreciated and value. Also, please take Julie and Little T out for ice cream with this for all the time they allow you to spend with us. Thanks, Julie and Little T. Did you hear that, Julie? And it was a $50 donation. That is from the Fine Group. One of the ones in the Telegram and who's always here in the lives. You know who it is. He's part of the same bunch with JW. Hello, JW, if you're watching in the Abyss. We know you're watching. But yeah, this is something that I love is XLM. So guess what? Welcome to my world. It's one of the ways I can get you to join me in this vendetta. So it's not like I made you do it at 60 cents, right? I waited for a long time, and I felt like this was the time, and I really like XLM. I like XDC too, but for the purposes of what I'm trying to do right now, this is the route I wanted to go. Because I believe it's undervalued compared to the 3. I believe, just like when we watched the money flow before, I think we're getting to that point. I really think we're getting to that point here. This is kind of like silver versus gold. And then XDC would be copper. I'm dead serious. Copper would be XDC. Silver would be XLM, as the word gold would be XRP in this scenario. It's just the way it's set up. Even though it's closer in comparison. But it's one of the ways it's set up. So, but thank you so much, the Fine Group. Where's T? Oh, okay. I appreciate that. Jesse, thank you so much. Welcome in. I got bent over when I FOMO in at 29 and XLM life out stuck. Not necessarily. Remember that first big push, you're going to be well over 29. 29 cents will look like a good buy soon. It's just we don't really know when it's at. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I like where we're sitting. You know, this is one where I can live or die with it because I sold it when it was a little bit higher. And I kept wanting to rebuy it back in, but the only thing I kept holding of what I've had, you guys know, is XRP and XRP Healthcare consistently. And DGB would have been consistent except for what happened. So I decided to reevaluate this, and I really wanted to do this with the group. So we'll see how this plays out. There's no guarantee because I could still see it come to 18 or 16. But if this structure were to break, I simply like bigger structure, not like the micro structure. But I would probably play it farther down, but I actually like this. So let's see. Yabo, ZBC on opinion. I have an open short, and at the moment you're even. I don't know. Because I could see if this is an M topping reversal here, this is what I was talking about. If this ends up being a topper and it ends up pulling down here, we could find ourselves down just a little bit farther at the 20-day. So that's what I was talking about, micromanaging. Huh?
He was playing with the big flash.
That's fine. He's allowed to have fun. But patience. Patience, folks. Patience. Remember XRP when we bought at 34? I believe right after we bought at 34 and the first time, and it went right to I think 32 or 31, and it was one of those things. It was like, sure, I could have waited, or 33. I missed it by a little bit, but like looking back on it, do you care if it was 33 or 34 or 38? You don't give a fuck. Or 45. I mean, it's at 225 now. You don't care. So I started to look at it from that perspective. It's like, if whether it's at 24.1, 24.7, who cares? As long as it's not at 60, you know, now it's starting to split hairs. And now I could actually see if I could actually add to it after. I don't know if it'll let me. Because if it opens another trade, I'm not interested. But ZBCN, man, it was so close to my support. Because I wanted to make a play when it came down here at 00216. And that's another one I wouldn't have a problem with the group, you know, putting in and just seeing how we could get fucked over. But we made a lot of money on these before. And, you know, I honestly, both times I was in these, I ended up down in the beginning a good, not a terrible amount. The one time I was down like $400 in ZBCN before it decided to finally pull up the cocksucker. But I was in a spot position, so I had time to let it run. And then it turned into like 4,000 or 6,000. But this is doing exactly what I was hoping it would have. And now it just needs, if it bounces down here real quick, I could see myself throwing... I could see myself throwing a few $1,000s at it. I really could. I mean, I'm not going to hide it. I just could. So, you know, it's kind of like how do you evaluate the board? Because when you're looking even at XRP, XRP failed 229. There is no doubt about that. But did it really fail? I mean, it failed 229, but did it fail, or does it just want to come back over and retest what we talked about earlier back here? Because we did have the breakout now, and now couldn't it back test there officially since it did come under? Who knows? You never know. But, or what about the news we can't quite understand, right? That's the other variable. All looks good, but with the news comes issues. You know, sometimes the news might not come out in our favor. So it's all risky. And this isn't like I want to hold this for 6 years. But I definitely... I can't explain it. This happens all the time, and then I look like an asshole initially. Because maybe it goes down initially, which is why I always say don't use leverage, so you can let it play. But it's got something building here. Unless XLM's a big pile of shit right now, and it's just got no testicular fortitude, and this breaks through, which can happen, then it forced me to sell it and try to pick up more shares when it came down to its ultimate destination, or more tokens. But we'll see. I'm not seeing the evidence that it's a complete pile of horse shit yet. I'm just seeing a lack of buyers right now. Not many sellers, though. That's the good news. It's building a nice shoulder, or a nice flag here, which could be considered a shoulder. You know, how elevated up. So, I'm actually just waiting. I'm waiting for, but this is the most volatility. That's why people are like, well, what kind of leverage is safe? None. Guess what? The only leverage that is safe is no leverage. How about that? Okay? How about that? The only leverage is no leverage. We're not opening it at 3x. I'm opening it at 1x. That's my terms. I'm not being cautious. I'm trading this like a spot trade, everybody. This is like I'm holding 10,000 XLM. I'm not trying to be cautious. I just know it works. I know it's time tested. You know, look at the micro losses you have by getting burned in stop losses. Guess what? In 1x, you don't have to worry about a stop loss. You can just trade. You can just play your spot game. I can let this play out. Whether it takes 6 months, 6 years, 16 years, I can let it play out. Or I can have strategy involved. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. I don't want to use strategy. I just want, well, I want to use strategy to make the buy-in. But I don't want to have to finesse this. I just want this to be able to play. Jan, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon badge. I know you want our input, Tom. But some of us are down bad and just want to win. Speaking on my own behalf, the fact you're doing this is a blessing, so I have no room to dictate terms. Just think, I get what you're saying. No, I definitely get what you're saying. Remember, it's just slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Everything I built wasn't from leverage. You know, in my experience, it's not, you know, you can't speed it. It shows Tom's followers P&L on BITUNIX. It's negative 30% on part of it. How does it show you're down 30%? I don't understand. I haven't done a trade. Oh, as a collective group? I didn't know that. It would show everybody's. I didn't know you were down 30%. I don't know. I don't really look too deep into everything. I just kind of trade. I don't care about a lot of semantics. You'll find out. The reason why I don't pay too much attention. I was up one time with this group. I had 60 something people copy trading me, or 50 something, and I was up over 400% on HOTCOIN. And the amount of hate I got was unbelievable. That's when I was like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You know, it really doesn't matter. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm more okay with it now than I used to be. I'm more content. And now nothing can surprise me. Let's see. I don't understand. I was looking at this because I thought it was funny that it chose down 30%, but I don't know, I'm naive. I don't ever go through here. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know where you see that. Anyhow, whatever. I don't even care. Honestly. Let's see. You just started it. The link is in the top. Yeah. Proud new order of XL. Tom, when you set a stop loss. No, I will not set a stop loss. I don't set stop losses when I trade. I make the sale when I feel like the pattern broke down. I don't like to put an artificial stop loss. My whole point with stop losses is I think they artificially target the stop losses with the trading bots. How many times have you been in a position where it hit your stop loss and then it just went right to where you thought it was going to go? Almost seamlessly, like it hit your stop loss right at the end. No matter how far out of the way it seemed. On a quick wick nonetheless. For 1 minute. And then 3 minutes later, it was higher than where that wick was, 12% down in some miracles. You know, I just feel like they chased the wick. So no, this is a spot position. I am not worried about getting liquidated. If you're worried about losing a few $100s while you're waiting, well, you've hit the wrong game in town because it takes time sometimes for the pattern to play. I don't know what to tell you. You're talking to somebody who's a seasoned veteran right now, so it's like, you know, it's like when you watch a golfer who's an amateur, they make one bad shot, and oh my God, it's over. It's the same thing when you trade. If you're an amateur compared to when you've been doing it for so long, you make one bad trade, the amateur's like, oh my God, I'm fucking going into, you know, panic mode. Now I'm going into 5x leverage. Oh shit, I fucked it up. Now I gotta do 15. Oh my God, now just to buy the same, I gotta do 30. To where the normal person, well, not the normal, but the one who's doing it every single day is like, oh my God, I made a bad trade. But since it's a spot trade, I can reevaluate and I'll buy the same token, even though I missed it at this point. Now I can try to pick it up at the next point because I do believe that this is going to go this way. It's just I might have jumped the gun. But then it's not, oh, I'm going to sell it if I jump the gun if it's within a certain percentage. I believe if you're within 20% of the bottom, you can't be buying and selling it all day long. Otherwise, you're going to lose all your money anyhow. You're too cautious. Right now, it's quite the opposite. We're trying to have foresight here. We're not trying to force anything. We've been waiting for a pattern to develop. And now with XLM, it's developed. And it's one of those things. Do you take a shot? Do you show some kind of fortitude? Or do you sit here and let it all pass you by? I don't have the answer for you. My own answer is I'm not going to let it pass me by. And I'm going to take a shot. If I fail, so what? I'll try again later. Over time, it's paid off hand over fist. But it doesn't pay off every time. Like with XRP, it's exactly what I told the audience. Like, if you're not in it, somebody asked me at 232, should they buy it? I'm like, no. Because at 229, it's got a hold. And theoretically, you're at a fine spot. But XRP's been stuck in this range. So what happens for the person if they would have bought at 232? Now they're sitting here at 235, 236. Well, if they bought it in spot, they might have a plan with XRP. That's the thing. If you think it's going to do something, what does it matter if it's at 225, 232, 290? Is it because the portfolio looks a little bit bigger? Because for me, I always find it easier when the portfolio is down because then temptress isn't there. You know, it's not the temptress to sell because you're up. You know, my biggest problem is when I'm up, I don't want to get rid of my position because I actually want it. But when it gets too far up, like you guys seen what happened after November, all of our stuff went up like 4, 6, 7, 8. XRP Healthcare went up 27x or whatever it was, 30x. We're talking about like 2 months. So then we had to make decisions. But now we're back to where we can reaccumulate and do what we got to do here. You know, and I think there becomes moments, like Julie knows. My biggest struggle used to be I would just buy and sell something instantly in spot. I would just be like, oh my God, it's down fucking 3%. I'm out of this shit. Then it'd go up 3.5%. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I should have just sat there. Then I buy again. I'm like, what the fuck are these trading bots reading my mind? Like when I buy, it goes down. When I sell, it goes up. Like what the hell? But that's because that's the general dynamic. They're playing off emotion. So if you're doing that, there might be 10 other people that are doing it with you. And one person who's like, oh my God, I see them doing it the opposite way. They're all fearful. This is my chance. That's how I feel when I trade now. I watch my audience and it's like they're all panicking. And I'm sitting here saying, listen, assholes. And then you're not assholes, but that's just how I talk about people sometimes. It's like, listen, Bob, you know, if I'm telling you, like, be patient, that's why I put in the title. I was direct. XRP fails to close above 229, but XLM presents golden opportunity for the patient buyer today. That doesn't mean you have to buy it at 2467. Maybe it's tomorrow when you watch this, but the patient buyer in the moment here, because this pattern is going to play out eventually, whether it's not the proper setup in this exact moment and it needs to go down 20% and reset it up, we'll never know. But in the setup it's presenting to us, this is like the calm before the storm. It's the most volatile part. But by somehow, some way, Bitcoin's going to somehow pop to 114 here, and then all of a sudden XLM is going to find itself having some kind of rally. I don't know how it's going to happen, and maybe that's all bullshit, but I do believe XLM is about to have a rally. And we talked about this on Friday with XDC, and look what happened. And then I even marked it off level by level, and this is where I thought 6.9, and look how it's popped up through here. XLM is down here right now. See how this is building? XLM is down in this area. And the cool thing about XLM is it did it in a different way. See how it's building? See that bull flag underneath? See this flag? And I like to compare XRP, XLM, and XDC because they're one and the same. They just run slightly different timing. Look at this. Down here before it did the golden cross. Look at that bull flag. I mean, I feel like I'm watching this in slow motion. And that's why I said I'm not focusing on anything else. So we're going to do it like this. And we're just going to rock. Because if we stay in limbo, or if we stay in the rotation with all three of these equally, we can ride the coattails of XRP because we're at a constant. But between XLM and XDC, we can start to be like, oh, man. You know, and then it becomes but we can't do it with XDC. It's not in futures right now. So it actually worked out the way I did it right now, if you're wondering about timing. And then the XLM XRP pairing speaks like we're about to have a big move. Look at that. This is fan-fucking-tastic. This is a beautiful consolidation, so I'm not afraid. The only thing I'm afraid of is that some don't have the cojones when they're down a little bit of money. I've never met a trader who's not down money that succeeded. The only trader that I've ever seen that's up money and never failed was the guy who put in one trade and somehow it just went up. He cashed out and never looked back. It's like the guy in the casino. He hits one lucky pull and then he's there forever fucking putting his house up for a note. So he can go get a secondary mortgage on his house so that he can go gamble. That's how it is in the stock market too. You have one lucky trade, you have one bad trade, and then it's either the confidence is gained or lost, and then it's never reversed. It's crazy. I've been on all sides of these. That's why I look at it now, and it's like, honestly, I don't even care if people get mad. I don't. It's like, if you want to trade with me, you trade with me, but if you're trading against me or at me, it's not going to work. So then I just decided to hell with it. I get all these excuses in my normal everyday when I'm trying to do this stuff anyhow. So I think the only thing is we all own it. So if you don't like XLM, well, you probably don't want to do this. If you're just looking for the easy dollar, you certainly don't want to do this. There's plenty of jabronis you can try to follow that, try to promise that crap. I'm not promising shit. I'm just trying to get ahead here. You know, if you get ahead, I get ahead. If I don't get ahead, you're not getting ahead because you're copying it. But you think I want to lose my money? That's $2,500. So if I'm down $250, you think I'm going to be happy? No. But I'm going to evaluate what's going on, and I'm going to say, well, what the hell is going on? Because right now, clearly, it could come down to this 20 days. So we'll see what happens. But this is what we're building. We'll see if it has to come down there. I would think that there's going to be some intervention of sell volume turning into buy volume. I just don't know where. It's going to come at some point, unless, like I said, it's going to fall off a cliff, which is possible. There's always the event that that could happen. So, and that's the variable. That's why it sucks right now. That's why right now sucks, because you don't know the variable. We'll figure it out at some point. Trading with J-Ride, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Says, can we look at algo? And also on Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP diamond hand badge. We sure can. We sure can. Where are we at? Algo. But this is what I mean. Like, if the whole market decides to pull a Uno reverse card, it's not going to be pretty. We'll learn a lot. Let's just say this. We'll learn a lot either way here. We'll see what the market has in store for us. But it could get ugly. It's got a setup. It's got a setup here for XLM. I'll go at some point to run out of here. But we don't know when the market's going to give it that condition. It's like how I feel with a lot of these. They have a setup, but at the same time, we're kind of stuck in shit zone. Oh, if the quicksand scenario plays out, which I don't know when it's going to happen, the quicksand. I mean, that's the part of this that, like I said, it makes me nervous. It's why I would put $2,500 but not $10,000 into this position. It's the honest to God truth because of that. You know, I can stomach if I have to lose 10% before I have to sell and then rebuy back later. I can stomach that, but if I have to lose $2,500 to sell and rebuy back in, it would be a different feeling. So, but I'm willing to give it a shot here. I'm willing to give it a shot to try to shuffle itself out. I don't know. I keep telling everybody, I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. Just like I didn't know with XDC. I knew it was about to happen, but I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. You know, it's going to happen. I just don't know how much we're going to be down before it happens on some of this. I know that we've waited a very long time because it's not at 60 cents anymore, and it's actually having these breakouts. And I mean, at some point, right? At some fucking point. XLM's down 61% from December, January. That's a shitload. And we already broke out. Now we're on this expansion and consolidation after a nice back test here. I mean, we back tested it all the way from April until May. So that was a long back test. Now we're like in the expansion. Once we break out of this, we're kind of off to the races. There's not much to stop us. That's why if we can be patient and we can ride this properly, I mean, if this plays out, oh man, it would be a nice little start here. And it's not going to be unlike what you're seeing with XDC right now. That's what I mean, like. And I think we'll come back here in a few weeks and we'll be like, well, did we listen or did we panic? And we'll know. We'll see it on black and white. Right, Julie? You'll know either way. That's the beauty of it. What's he doing now? Good. That's funny. And then let's put the RSI, because this isn't the monthly. So if you look at this from the monthly, it doesn't look so bad, does it? The monthly looks fine. You know, the monthly on XLM looks great, actually. You had a nice inverted 2 months in a row, and now you're starting to break up at the start. That's a long month, though. That looks like a beautiful setup as well. Looks like we're on an inverse right arm here, just from the... That's what it looks like. I promised I would put in some extra time on XLM. I had to wait for the right time to when I felt good. We're back into the neutral area, so we're kind of rounding here a little bit. We'll see. It's a matter of when we do it. I love that moving average convergence divergence the way it's at right now. It's kind of crossing itself right now. We're going to see if we can hold that test. If we do, we're going to get a little explosion in volume here. It's happened before, where we didn't get any sell pressure as much, and we ended up getting that follow through in volume. Eventually, it's going to happen. The rotation happens all the time. Asia is waking up right now. Interesting. So what are we doing with the XRP not buying that? I mean, whatever you want to do. It's whatever your plan is. My plan with the XRP that I have from 34, like I had some at 34 and 38. The 38-cent XRP is all gone. But my 34-cent XRP that's in the wallet on XRP Healthcare, that just sits there until, I don't know when. It sits there because I don't want to keep XRP Healthcare lonely. So they both just sit there in tandem until the time's right. I don't know when the time's going to be right. But eventually it will. I'm not even looking to pay taxes on that either because I already did what I had to do. But XRP in the 4-hourly, yeah, it's looking a little bearish. You got this bearish continuation in the 4-hour candle. There's not a lot of sell pressure, though, if you want any kind of solace. You had some nice pressure pushing up here with 4.06 million in the 4-hourly. Then we had 1.81 million. And now on the sell pressure, 567,000. And right now, about half this candle, we're looking at about 570,000 to 600,000 over 4 hours. So, I mean, there's not much sell pressure. It's just kind of the bots are selling out right now, I feel like. So, I wouldn't expect too much here. Yep, see Shane up 50 cents. He bought XRP, said never selling from there. It's just a matter of principle, you know. I'm looking at the long game with that, with XRP. I didn't sit here for 4 years buying and selling. You know, there's just a plan there. There's 10,000 tokens, or 10,000 whatever, 12,000. I don't know exactly what it is because I added a little bit here and there with the 38 cents that I wasn't willing to give up a few thousand. So then when I didn't sell it, I just sent it to the wallet and said, you're sitting there with it. Solo and core pumping and everything else isn't kind of like the beginning of the bull market in November. It kind of is, Nick. It really is. It's almost like we're just waiting. I'm waiting for XLM right now. Like I'll be the most patient man in the world. And then when it happens, at least some of my friends will be along, or my enemies, though, by virtue because it's been so long. They're gonna be like, Jesus Christ, I know we're up 60%, but did we have to wait 3 years? Like, I know, but time's only have, time's just time. What'd you US dollar do in 3 years? What's it down at, 60? No one will be like, I guess that's true. In hindsight, it didn't really matter. We're fucked either way. No, it feels like we're just in the calm before the storm. That it really feels like that for pumping purposes, but yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Let's see. The only other thing that I can really think of that, could be it's beneficial, is sometimes turn the phone off. Just stop checking if you're up or down. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, if you own a position and you want it, you got nothing but time. We got nothing but time. We come here every single day. That's our thing. We got time together, folks. This will fly over some people's head tonight, but it is what it is. XRP Healthcare at 51, so 5.16 cents. Again, this is another one that we were waiting for this. Look, that bear flag played out finally. Remember when we talked about the bear flag? It played out the 3. Wait a minute, what? Oh, shit. I missed my buying opportunity. Son of a bitch. I'll be goddamn. I didn't know it came down to 3 cents. Isn't that a bitch? Why wasn't the Telegram alerting everybody? That was going to be a buy zone. I was going to buy some when it came down there. I talked about 3 cents in particular. 2.5 or 3 cents. I'll be damned. Oh, it was a fast candle. Well, that makes sense. They usually are. But that bear flag we talked about, that's now completed. Now we're in business. Yeah, see, it's almost is set up. The only farther one is we could go a little bit farther. This area already came down, but this one, that would come down here. But I don't necessarily, I think this is going to bounce up. I think this is just a nice consolidatory descending kind of, I don't want to call it a wedge. Maybe it is a little bit of a, either way, it's descending. It's not bad. I don't know. I just know eventually we're going to get a rip here that we can't believe. And we're gonna sit here and go, oh my god. We did that, and remember 4 months ago when this, look how much this went up. And we bought it well before it went up. We were at 1.7, 2.2, 2 point whatever. Look at this. That was one of the most insane, like even from there, it's what, 2,500%. That was so fun. We're doing lives and we're just sitting like, oh my god. This is the craziest thing ever. Yeah, what's he doing now? Is he in his chair or is he by his thing? Sorry. Yeah, if you want to. Dan, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happened on air and display. Oh, I know. We used to buy it on Maxi, but then they stopped helping the US IP users. So we started buying it on if you can on Albank. And then I just send it to my XRP healthcare wallet. That's where I store my XRP as well. I don't have any bones about sharing that information. And I felt sorry for XRP healthcare sitting there by itself. So it's a true story, I know. But right now it's just the patience game. So what do you guys think? Anything else you want to add? Because Julie's going to bed and my son's up, so you know it's a little late, 9:41. So if anybody's got anything they'd like to add, I'm not leaving just a second, but I want to know if there's anything anybody has to add. I'm gonna go check on everything, and then you know, I want to know what else everybody thinks. I really, really do. I really want to know. Sorry about that, everybody. I know a bunch of people probably left. Apologize. My son's special needs, and I don't need to explain it. You guys know the story. Jesse, you're welcome. But let's take a look at some of the news while we have some time together here. Let's see some of the news. Yeah, we know about the new threat. Japan, North Korea, there was some, 25% for those two. I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. It kind of seems like, oh, we'll see what happens. That's what I'm saying. There's always that. There's always that. Um, that there's the unknown. So that you can't really trade the unknown is the problem. So if something comes out and then it drops the market by 10%, I mean, that's the unknown right now. That's why it's hard to trade these parts of the market. But we'll see what happens. We'll stay vigilant. Bitcoin's down 400 points right now, about 1/3 of 1%. Fell back within. So we'll see what really has to happen here. It's gonna be a tough spot here. You know, it's gonna be a tough spot. To see exactly how it plays out. But I mean, there is a lot of momentum here. It's just, are we gonna round this top quicker, sooner, slower? All I know is it's gonna be a wild ride. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. I think we'll have a lot of fun. Well, fun is relative, right? Let's see. See if we can get. I don't think it was anything new. Like the stuff that I don't think it was anything new with the trade stuff. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm worried about what could come later. MicroStrategy reports 14 billion Bitcoin gains in Q2 while launching 4.2 straight D stock program to buy more Bitcoin. Okay, so there's a buy coming for Bitcoin. He's doing that common stock bullshit again. So basically, he's putting it on his investors in MicroStrategy. So there's going to become an inevitable buy here for Bitcoin too. So he's planning on buying. Gonna be a $4 billion plus buy of Bitcoin sometime in the future. So that's interesting. Isn't that interesting? XRP set to shock the crypto market with 30% share. Ripple exploded by 600% the last time this happened. Got my nuts on a jelly. Well, Ripple, is it showtime again? While Ripple's cross-border token has been trading within the $2.15 to 30-cent range over the past week, the technical analysis tool XRP Bollinger Band suggests that the price may experience a major move in the short term. The XRP Bollinger Bands are extremely tight. Big pump incoming, yada, yada, yada. Back then, the price of XRP was around 50 cents, whereas in the following months, it skyrocketed by approximately 600%, touching almost $3.40. XRP currently trades at around $2.27, and an increase of that magnitude would result in a rally of about $16. See, I hate when they go that far. Like, let's just worry about the 525 and 340 and, you know, all these things. 560, or what is it, 549. So a Bollinger Band squeeze means that the token has experienced periods of minor turbulence over a certain period of time and is viewed as a factor that could precede a significant price pump or a major correction. The tightening bands toward the end of the last year may have played a role in XRP's impressive performance, but it is worth noting that other elements contributed. The presidential, but we already know. So the widely, blah, blah, blah. So that's what they're pointing at, tightening of the Bollinger Bands. I remember when we talked about that some time ago, before that breakout, and it was like at a historical closing, just like it was in 2017. It had closed, if not tighter. So now we're kind of having the follow through. John says there should be a law and fine if someone tries to manipulate the market or a certain coin. Well, the problem with that is it's all trading bot and algorithm. So I mean, a lot of people would be in trouble. But I guess I should go because Julie's in bed. And my son's up, so I'm gonna go in there and see what's going on. With XRP, we're just kind of straddling right now. Nothing to see here. The weekly looks fine. Right now, the weekly's fine. We bounced off of my own distribution area, so I mean, as of right now, we're doing fine. We just need some positive trajection. You know, we need some kind of positive volatility. And the 4-hourly is where it's starting to look a little dicey. But then again, when you look at the 4-hour sell pressure, there is none. So I mean, volume dictates the price, and this could just be coming to the uptrend. as this fills in this last little part of this consolidation. It could just be a rising triangle. These are mostly bullish continuations if it doesn't fall out of it. That's a big if. 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 But yeah, I'm going to go. Thank you, everybody. I know you understand. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm glad we could do a second live tonight. About over 2 hours worth of lives today, which is awesome. And thank you to the few of you who donated during this live. You know, that's incredibly helpful. So be blessed, everybody, and we'll meet back